Good day, ladies and gentlemen. We will continue our discussions on database concepts. We'll try and create a database and two tables in this session. We will do these topics and other topics, more such topics in future database sessions. This is a wonderful quotation from Ralph Waldo Emerson of 19th century. It says, once you make a decision, the universe conspires to make it happen. Wonderful quotation, ladies and gentlemen. Now, let us look at what we want to accomplish in this session. So, whenever we take up a task, big or small, we need to have a vision. What exactly, how do we want to achieve that? So this is a vision that the database, what we want. This is a database name, and this is a table, and this is a table. So this database may contain many tables, which we will create later on. But right now, what we want to do is, in this vision of our database, we'll create a database. We'll create a student table, department table, and later on, we will add data into the database. Now, the first step in creating the first step in this vision is to create the database called my college. Okay, that's the first step. So this is the command in MySQL to create the database. It says create database my college. So this is the command, and after you create, you can show databases, and the database you just created will show up. Now, after creating the database, when you want to continue with other commands, you need to first use that database. So you give this command so that the database is used, and whatever activity we do will be done to that database. So what we have accomplished so far is that we created this database so far, and now our next task is to create this table, student table. So let's do that. What we are now doing is, first we will create the department table. We will first create the department table. All right. Now, here, department table, this is what we are going to do. The command that we will give is create table department, and give the both columns that we want to create. So we specify the table name, and we specify the column names. And we also specify the most important aspect, the primary key, which is a primary key in this department, which we discussed in the previous video as what's the primary key and so on and so forth. So this is a primary key here. So this department contains two columns. These are the two columns. This is an integer department code and character department name, and this is a primary key. So what we have accomplished so far is that we have created a database, and in that database we have added the table called department. Our next task is to create the table called student. So let's do that. Now, what we are going to do in a similar fashion is that we'll create table. This is a command, create table student, and give all the columns one by one. We have only two columns, roll number and department code is a character, and this is a integer. So we specify these two, and these two are called what are called constraints. Here, this is a primary key. Roll number is a primary key. This is the way we specify primary key. We have seen another way in the previous table department. Now, this is an important aspect. Foreign key, see in the student, we have seen in the previous video that department code is a foreign key. So this is how we create the foreign key constraint here. So roll number, department. So roll number is a primary key and department code is a foreign key. So these are both specified here. So what we have accomplished now is that we created the database my college, we created the table department, and we created the table student. So these three we have created successfully. Now, in other words, what we have really done is we created the database, we created the department table, we created the student, and these are the columns: department code, department name, roll number, department code. Now you need to one needs to remember that after we do this, then the database is really empty. There is no information, there is no data here. All rows are empty. However, the most important aspect is that we have created the structure of the database. So the definition of the database, what's the database name, what are the various tables, and in each table, what are the various columns, and what are the constraints, and all this information is called schema. So using the schema, we have created the database, empty database, wherein the structure has been set up correctly. So that's what we have accomplished in this video. And in the next video, what we'll try and do is we will populate these data with actual data. So we have achieved creation of an empty database. In the next video, we will populate it with rows or records. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Bye.